What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel for another stream. This is Stockholm Gunnar, and this is the match preview for tomorrow's game. It is Arsenal versus Wigan, people. Wigan, right? It is the FA Cup, the fourth round, my people, and this should be entertaining. Very entertaining, I'm saying. Right? Because Wigan currently are struggling in the league they are in, right? They're playing in the League One, and they are really struggling, seriously struggling. They're sitting as the number 22 in that table, and it looks like they are going to be relegated by the end of the season if they do not do anything to improve their position, basically, right? We're gonna talk about the game we played against Brentford, and I'm gonna give you my predicted starting 11, and we're gonna go through the press conference that Mikel Arteta did before the Wigan game. Basically, we're gonna do all of that, and let me give you a couple of interesting facts about Wigan currently, right? This is the first time ever since that we played against them in 2013 and 2013/14 season, where we met them in the FA Cup semi-final, right? And we drew against them in that game, and we had to go to penalty shootout against them, and we won that one 4-2, right? Mikel Arteta netting in the shootout for us. The other thing is that Wigan has lost their last 10 games in the 11 away games against Arsenal in all competition, people, right? For Arsenal, we are looking to reach the 5th round, and we haven't been able to get past the 4th round, right, since 2019/20 season, when we went on to win the FA Cup, people. That is the match facts, basically. That is what I gathered about this FA Cup so far, and I'm gonna show you the last 5 games they have played, Wigan, and you will get a little bit more information about how they are currently doing. And they have a lot of losses, I have to say. They have a lot of losses, people, and these are the last 5 games they have played, Wigan. Look at these matches they have played. They have played against Reading, and they lost that one 2-1, right? They played against Peterborough United. They lost that one 6-1, people. They were smashed. They were really smashed. And then they played against the Lincoln City. They lost that one 1-0. Incredible, right? Loss after loss after loss. They played against Wycombe Wanderers. They lost that one 2-0. And then they drew against Doncaster Rovers, which was 3-3. Look, they're not doing well. Seriously, they are not doing well. They're struggling, and I personally believe that they will be relegated by the end of the season. That's what I personally believe, people. But we are not doing great ourselves. Look, we played against Brentford the other day on Thursday night, and we struggled in that game. We seriously struggled in that game, right? In a game where we were supposed to take the 3 points, but Brentford came out and played very well, people. We are currently talking about them because they are a very interesting team, and I'm gonna give you the stats for that game as well. These are the stats, people. These are the stats from the Brentford game, and I was disappointed, I have to say, that the fact that we drew against Brentford, and to me, certain parts of that game, it looked like Brentford won it more than us, right? One thing that I tend to struggle with is that I don't understand why, as soon as we score a goal, why we sit back and let teams come on us, basically, right? They will come on us and try to score against us, and we sit in there defending. Why can't we go on the front foot and get another goal and kill the game off? It is frustrating to see Arsenal playing in that way. Arteta is a frustrating manager to actually support, I have to say. Now, against Brentford, these are the match stats, people. We had 56% of the ball possession, people. They had 41%, and they had a goal expected goals XG. It was 1.51 for Brentford, people, and then it was 0.60 for us. Incredible. It just shows you that they were on the front foot most of the time. And then they had 12 shots. Out of those 12 shots, 3 was on target, people. 3 was on target. And then we had 7 shots and 2 was on target, people. Right? Big chances created. They had 3 of them, while we had just the 1, people. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now, these are the lineup that we had in that game. And I think some players performed a lot better than some others, right? And for me, in that game, the man of the match for me was Hinkepia was brilliant in that game. The way he was running up and down on that wing and crossing those balls into the box. But however, let's start from the goalkeeper. I found him lately to be a bit shaky. Raya, he's coming out to claim the ball, and he cannot really get hold of the ball. I don't know what's going on. Is it lack of concentration? What is going on with Raya? And another thing that he did was that he tried to set a one attack off, and he threw the ball quickly to Declan Rice, and they managed to get hold of the ball, Brentford, because that wasn't a good throw out for Declan Rice, and they took the ball, pass it to the left winger, and who crossed it straight into the box where Thiago was standing in the box, and he headed that one. Thank God that was straight at Raya. If he would have headed that ball to either one of the posts, then that could have been a goal. So for me, Raya has been shaky. The last 2 games against Sunderland and against Brentford, he has been a bit shaky, right? That is Raya for you guys. Then we have Timber on the right side, people. I think Timber is a brilliant player, and I think we are overplaying him. He's seriously playing too many games. And in my match preview for the Brentford game, I said that we should rest Timber and play Ben White, right? Because the guy is naked, and I think he's suffering from fatigue, basically. And we seen the way he was playing against Brentford, and he was beaten a couple of times by the likes of Lewis Potter and who was the other player on the wing? I think it was Janelt, right? Who was on his side, and they beat him a couple of times, and he was struggling a bit. So therefore, Timber, he had an all right game, but he could have done better. One pass that he did that was brilliant was that chance that we had against them late in the game, where he passed the ball to Martinelli, and Martinelli was one-on-one against the goalkeeper, and all he had to do was just lift the ball over the goalkeeper, but he didn't do it. He took the shot, and the goalkeeper made a great save against Martinelli, right? That is Jurriën Timber. And then you have Mosquera, who is next to him in that central defense. Mosquera, I think as soon as he came in, he performed very well. I think he was solid throughout the game, and he came up with a good blocks in this game. You know, a couple of headers he had. It was very, very vital for him to head those balls away. And I remember specifically one tackle that he did was that when Thiago nicked the ball in front of him and he ran at goal, and Mosquera had to make a very quick run to get back to position and put a tackle in and block the shot right before Thiago could have took the shot. And he did that so brilliantly. I thought he was brilliant in that way, and he saved us a couple of times. And then you have our captain Gabriel Magalhaes, who has saved us so many times in this game against Brentford. I think he was as solid as a rock in this game. The blocks that he did, I mean, one of the boys, the Brentford boys, took a shot, and Gabriel just threw himself at the ball, heading it right so it doesn't go to goal. Another tackle that he did was that tackle that he did against Thiago once again, who started running against Gabriel, and Gabriel put his body in between him and the goal, right? And he blocked that shot from Thiago. And Gabriel was very good on the day, very good on the game. But the best defender so far in this game was Hinkepie, the way he was running up and down on that left wing. And I think we did score from one of his crosses. Yes, it was Hinkepie who crossed the ball to Nuno Madueke, who was standing at the 4 post, right? And he headed that ball across the goal, and we got the first goal. That's how we scored our goal. And I think Hinkepie is damn right that he gets the man of the match, and he was brilliant in this game. And then we come to our midfielders, Zubimendi and Declan Rice. Zubimendi and Declan Rice. Look, Brentford, they had a lot of ball possession in this game. They seriously had a lot of ball possession. And I think they played better than us in the first 30 minutes of that game. They seriously played better than us the first 30 minutes, right? They had the ball, that ball possession, and they keep on holding on to the ball, passing it to side, and going around us and through us whenever they wanted to. And it was frustrating to see that from the boys, and we couldn't really get hold of the ball, right? For 30 minutes in that game, it was frustrating to see our boys to struggle so much and to get the ball back. And unfortunately, Brentford played better than us in that first 30 minutes of the game in the first half. But however, when we got the ball back, you know what they were doing? They were hitting us on the press. They were pressing us so high. We will make the mistakes, and they will get the ball back and try to hit us on the counter attack quickly. Quick. That's what it was all about with Brentford. And they have a system that works for them. And I think they are a very good team, people. And I did say in my match preview, we should not take them lightly. They are a very good team. And I think they have got a couple of big wins, right? Against Aston Villa, they won that one. Away from home, right? They won their game against Aston Villa 1-0. And I think they did get a result against Liverpool. I think it was as well. So Brentford wasn't an easy game at all. We got out of that one with 1-1, a draw. Whether it is a good draw or whether it is 2 points dropped, I'll let you guys decide. Personally, I am inclined to saying it was 2-point drop, because this title race is getting a little bit too much heated, right? Man City is right behind us, just right on our necks, right? And they're just waiting on us making mistakes, and so they can jump on us and just overtake us, basically, right? And then we have Ebrishi Eze, people. Ebrishi Eze. Look, I'm not gonna say that I don't like the guy. I actually do like him as a player. I think he's an amazing player, right? I liked him while he was in Crystal Palace, and I liked the way he played in Crystal Palace. But as soon as he came to Arsenal, I don't know what's going on with the system. That is it like he cannot perform in this system? Is it too much of a workload on, or is it too much of information handed to him so he cannot perform? Look, to me, Esse is a player that needs to play freely in that midfield, and I think Arteta is taking that freedom away from the guy. That's what it feels like to me. And obviously, when he's playing with freedom, he tends to perform a lot better. But in this game against Brentford, I think he was poor, and I think him and Madueke was the poorest players on that field, right? I'm not picking on Madueke. I just think he's just not good enough. He did get us the goal. I applaud him for that. But SCA, I expect so much more from you. I expect so much more from SCA, right? And I think, and I said it before as well, I don't think he is a creative midfielder. I think he's one of those players that you just let him loose in that midfield and let him play freely. He will get you goals. He will be an impact player for you, right? but don't expect him to be a creative. You do have creative players like Martin Odegaard. He's not doing currently the job he's supposed to be doing, right? And then Kai Havertz, he got injured. The poor guy, I mean, coming back from knee injury, doing great in the couple of games that he did play for us. I mean, those direct passes from Kai Havertz is amazing, and we've been liking those direct passes from the midfield to the front line, right? And he showed us that he can do that, and showed Martin Odegaard as well that he needs to do something similar to that as well. So Ebrishi Eze, not a creative midfielder. I think he was poor in that first half, and it was right to substitute him off in that dressing room and bring on Martin Odegaard. And Martin Odegaard, as soon as he came into that field, the first 10 minutes he was all over that midfield. I liked what I was seeing from the guy setting off the press. It was incredible to see Martin Odegaard on the run and basically trying to get us the ball back. But then he died off. And he reverted back to being Martin Odegaard, the one that we don't want him to be, right? Passive. We want him to be more creative in that midfield. We want him to be more creative, but he didn't do that. All right. So that is SCA playing as that number 10, just behind the striker. And then you have Madueke. I think Madueke, for this game against Brentford, he was poor, but he was the one that got us the goal, right? He wasn't able to take a look. He will take on his defender and beat him. As soon as he beats him, then he cuts back to his left foot. What's the point of cutting back to your left foot? Because you already beat your defender, man. You already beat your defender. Go and cross the ball into the box. That's all you need to do. But no, he tends to cut it back to his left foot, do it a little bit too much, right? Overdoes the dribble, and then he ends up with getting that cross blocked. Frustrating. I said it a few times as well in my watch-alongs. Madueke is one of those players that is so frustrating to watch. Very frustrating to watch, I have to say. And then you have Trossard. What can I say about Trossard? Trossard, I just wish that he was quicker. I mean, the guy, if he had a little bit more pace, I think he would be a lot better player. He's tricky. He's a dribbler. He will take on defenders, right? And lately, what he's doing is that as soon as he gets the ball, he tends to drag the ball further down towards our half and then pass it to the defenders. It is frustrating. And sometimes he picks his head up and cross that ball into the box, or finds a pass into the box to Victor Gyökeres or one of the midfielders doing a direct run into the box, and he finds them through that way. I think I would say he was all right. He was all right in this game. I didn't really like it, nor did I dislike it either. So it's kind of very difficult to judge him on this game itself, right? And then you have Victor Gyökeres. And I think Victor Gyökeres had a good game. He had a good game. The way he was battling with the defenders against Ayer, the Brentford defender, the central defender. I felt like sometimes he was a lot quicker than the defender, and he could have taken him on and get past him. But he's not really a good dribbler, Victor Gyökeres. He really isn't a good dribbler. But he was doing a lot of good things. Those long balls to Victor Gyökeres, he was managing it to bring it down, right? And distribute it back to the midfield or to the wingers. And I thought he was good. He really was good. And then you have the substitutes that came into the play. I already talked about Martin Odegaard. I just wish that Martin Odegaard was a little bit more braver on the ball, right? When he takes risk, I think he finds those very crucial passes to the front line. But he doesn't want to take risks most of the times. He just wants to be safe and pass the ball sideways and all that stuff. And he's getting to a point where we are getting annoyed as Arsenal fans, right? I'm not going to pretend that I'm speaking for all Arsenal fans, but that's what it feels to me, basically. That is what it feels to me, people. So therefore, That was Martin Odegaard in that midfield. When he came in, the game went up a bit of a notch, and then we scored. And as soon as we scored, we set back. I don't know why we do that. I think it is an instruction from Mikel Arteta, saying to the boys, look, let's contain the game, let's control the game, and all that nonsense. Look, when you score a goal, it is a perfect opportunity for you to go on again and score another one, right? And then if you score the second goal, and go for the third one and kill the game off while you can, while you have the momentum, go kill the game off. We didn't do that. We backed off and we invited Brentford in, and they scored their goal. And the way they scored their goal was incredible, right? They used our tactics against us, which was set piece, ole, right? They were really good on the set pieces, I have to say. Those long throws, those throws into the box was incredible. The way they were overloading that box was incredible, and they gave what's his name, Raya, a headache, right? He couldn't come out and claim the balls the way he wanted to, and that was a very deliberate tactics from Brentford. And I think they have studied Arsenal's way of taking set pieces, and they managed to do that against us. Incredible. It was incredible. Who else came on that field? Hincapié came on that field Calafiori came in instead of Hincapié, and I think he didn't do much. It was just see the game out, basically. That's what it was. So those are the players in that game, basically, and then and it was a bad result. From my point of view, it is a bad result, people. 1-1 against Brentford. They're really good in their home ground. It's very difficult to go over there to G-Tech Community Stadium and get a result. So 1-1, by the end of the day, it's not the end of the world, people. We are still 4 points ahead of Man City. 4 points ahead of Man City. So now let's get into the press conference. The press conference, people, Mikel Arteta and his waffles, right? He said this on players making an impact. On players making an impact, people. He said, it is an opportunity for the team, again, with another competition, and the history that we have related to the competition is amazing. We are playing at home again, and I'm really excited to recover and go again. That is what he said about the competition and then about this upcoming game. And then he said, and they asked him on preparing for another competition. He said, every 3 days we are getting used to playing different competitions, right? Home and away. And we know what the competition means for the club, to ourselves, and to go step by step, right? We cannot do anything other than to take a game by game. Every opportunity that we get, we should basically analyze the teams that we're going to play against and make sure that we actually win the games, right? And then they asked him on why we haven't gone past the 4th round since 2020. That is a very, very interesting question. Why haven't we? Let's see what he said. We haven't been good enough on the day. When you come to a competition, you have to be excellent on the day, and the rest and the shirt that you wear and the badge that you wear is so irrelevant. So we are going to prove that against Wigan again on Sunday. Look, it's very important that you show a bit of a pride in your by wearing the badge, basically making sure that you play for the club and make sure that you compete on all front. And I think we all competed on all front this season. One of the reasons why we wasn't able to get past the 4th round the last couple of seasons is because we didn't have the team that we have currently, the squad depth that we have currently. And I think because of the squad depth that we have currently, we can go and fight on all fronts. It's just an example. Look at what we did in the Carabao Cup. We played our backup players throughout that competition, and we managed to get to the final, people, right? Except for the games against Chelsea, the semi-final, we had to go strong because Chelsea was such a dangerous team. So, and in the final, I expect a strong starting 11 in the Carabao Cup. So that's what you can do when you have a good squad depth, people. That's what you can do, right? You can play on all fronts, on all those 4 fronts, right? The FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the Premier League, the Champions League. So thank God that we have a good squad depth this season, right? And then the next question is, on change of competition being a good thing, right? I mean, he said we are doing that every week, and every 3 days we are playing different competitions, so we are so used to it. So we will reflect on the game, the Brentford game he's talking about, take the positive and learn for sure what we have to improve, and go on Sunday again with the energy and the battery fully charged to go and win the game, right? That's good. I just hope that he doesn't play certain players in this game. Look, Wigan, they're struggling, right? They're seriously struggling. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for the backup players to come in and perform in that game. And then the last question is on making changes for the game. Yes, that's what we have been doing. I mean, to try and make sure that everybody is a big part of what we are doing in different competitions, and Sunday will be the same. That is his take on that. Right now, on Sunday, I want to see a whole change, a different side. Now I want to see the backup players coming in, and I want them to perform, right? I do not want to see our strong starting 11. That I do not want to see. I want them to be rested, right? So we can come and go once again against Tottenham, the North London derby. So therefore, I'm looking forward to that one. So let me give you my predicted starting 11, who I think Arteta will go with for the Wigan game. And I think it's going to be a lot of rotation in this one. Seriously, a lot of rotation. So what we're going to do is that we are gonna do the lineup builder. The lineup builder. This is the lineup builder, people, and this is Arsenal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Raya off, and I'm going to play Kepa. Kepa will play this one, and then right back it will be Ben White, people, and then Mascaro will stay exactly where he is, and Gabriel will come off. Gabriel will be substituted for Calafiore. Calafiore and Mascaro will play in that central defense. I feel like Arteta will go with those two in that central defense. And then as the left back, it has to be Lewis Kelly. Lewis Kelly, who we haven't seen him lately, and I think he's such an amazing young talent. So therefore, that is the defender, the left back for Sunday. Ben White, right back, Mascara and Calafiore, central defenders, and Lewis Kelly as a left back, together with Kepa as a goalkeeper. And then you will play Christian Norgard as that sitting 6, and then I will play Esse as the 8, and then Martin Ødegaard. Where is Martin Ødegaard as the 10, right? And then Madueke will play on Sunday once again. I think he has to and improve his performances, basically. And then on the left, I will bring in Martinelli. Where is Martinelli? There is Martinelli. And up front, Gyökeres is coming off, and Jesus will step in. Where is Gabriel Jesus? There is Gabriel Jesus. So those are the starting 11 I think Arteta will go for in the game against Wigan on Sunday, people. On Sunday, let me give you the starting 11 once again. Kepa in goal, people. Kepa in goal, and then you have Ben White as the right back, Mascara and Calafiore central defenders, and Lewis Kelly as a left back. In that midfield, we have Christian Norgard, Christian Norgard, Ebrishi Eze, and Martin Erdegaard. Those are the midfielders, and then the three front is Nuno Madueke on the right, Martinelli on the left, and Gabriel Jesus up front. That is my predicted starting 11, right? And I think we're gonna win this one, and we're gonna smash them. A matter of fact, purely because of the fact that they are so in such a poor state currently. Wigan, they really are in such a poor state, right? Looking at their league form, they've been losing game after game, people, and they're sitting as a number 22 in that League One table, right? And there's a risk that they will be relegated by the end of the season, people. So therefore, we are gonna smash them, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be another 4-0, 5-0 game. I seriously do think so. So that's all I had for you guys, and we managed to do it under 30 minutes, people, and that's what I was hoping for. That is what I was hoping for, people. And let me have a look at the chat. Let's see what people are saying. J-Man said, yo, Stockholm Gunner. Let me get the text. There we go. Yo, Stockholm Gunner, this Wigan team is a dead team. Our backup players should get the job done tomorrow. I believe we will do the job. People. And he says also, I'm still vexed from the Brentford game. Look, Brentford played a lot better. They played a lot better than us. In that first half, that 30 minutes, we were clueless. We seriously was clueless, right? And when we scored our first goal, we backed off and invited them in. And then they got their goal and they were gunning for the victory. Seriously. So unfortunately, it's just the way we play, right? And to me, when you look at Arteta and when things are not going the way he wants, his way, basically, he looks clueless. He doesn't really know what to do. One thing I have to say, though, that change that he did in the dressing room against Ebrishi Eze for Martin Erdegaard, it had an effect in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and after that it died off, right? That is purely of the player, but he did manage to do a good change, and that was good. The next, it is AINJ, big up Stockholm Gunner. It says Essay is disappointing as lately. Is Arteta fucking his playing style? That could be one of the things that I was thinking. That it is one of those things, isn't it? He wants him to play in certain way. And I think Esse is better off when he's playing as a free player, right? With the freedom in that midfield. That's what I feel like. And I think he's a better player when he has that freedom, so he can go all around in that midfield and just basically create a havoc for you. That is when you're gonna get the best out of Ebrishi Eze. The current system is not really working for Ebrishi Eze, unfortunately, and Arteta really needs to do something to make sure that this guy gets involved in the games. He's not a creative midfielder. For me, he is not a creative midfielder, people. So therefore, he should be let go freely to play the way he usually plays, especially the way he used to play in the Crystal Palace, right? He had that freedom. So give the man a freedom to play the way he wants. Richard Wright says, Arsenal Butlers, right? Butlers against Wigan against Spurs, please. That's what he says, right? We're not going to do that. You are hoping, but we're not going to do that, people. We're not going to do that. And he also said we should be... I cannot pronounce this name. I really cannot pronounce this name. Look. Where was that in that text? Where was that in that chat? Richard, you're 8. You shouldn't be on here. Right, I cannot pronounce your name, unfortunately. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kai Havertz scores again. Now I saw it. I was a little bit slow with that one. Damn, a bit thick there, right? Kai Havertz scores again. I didn't really look at the name proper. There you go. Kai Havertz scores again. Said should be an easy 3-0. If we don't get the 3 or more goals, I'm gonna classify it as a loss, he says, right? And then Richard Rice says ego tutor Mikel Arteta is greater than Mikel Arteta, right? That is pretty much it, people. That is pretty much it. That's all the text. Raya is greater than the whole Spurs defense. I am agreeing with you on that one. Raya is a lot better than the Tottenham Spurs players all combined, right? That's all I had for you guys. I said it was going to be a 30 minutes stream for this match preview, and I enjoyed that one. And I think we're going to get the 3 points. I seriously do think we're going to get the 3 points. We're going to beat Wigan. It is our home ground in the Emirates Stadium. So let's go out there and perform, people. And I want SC to have a good game. I want Martin Odegaard to have a good game. Madueke and Martinelli and Jesus, all of the boys, and we gotta smash them. Simple as that. You're not gonna meet any weaker team than Wigan in the FA Cup. That's what I feel like, and we should we should make a lot of goals. We should score a lot of goals. Practice on them. Now, that's all I had for you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is the end of the stream, and I wish you guys a good day. Make sure that you hit the like though. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I wish you a good day. Take care, people.